Hi, in this film we're going to be exploring the second of the oral tests for grade 4. So in the first test we were singing back a melody unless you chose to play back a melody. In the second test everybody is going to sing. Now this may seem slightly intimidating if we start talking about sight singing, because lots of people will think that's something very difficult. Hopefully by the end of the film you'll be feeling a bit more comfortable about it. Now the first piece of good news is that you don't have to worry about the rhythm. As you can see, I've got an example of the sort of thing you might be asked to do here on the board. It's just 5 notes that you're going to be asked to sing for grade 4, and even though these are written as semi-breves, the intention is that you can just sing it in free time. So you'll sing the first note, you'll have a chance to think about what you think the second note is, sing the second note when you're ready, and then have a think about the third note, and when you're ready, sing that. So there's no hurry to rush through the notes. And the danger of this, and I think it sometimes happens when people feel a bit nervous, or maybe people don't like the test very much, is that some people sing these notes very quickly, and then of course things go wrong. Now the other thing that's going to be there to help you is that if you make a mistake for some reason, the examiner will correct you. So say you sing the first notes entirely accurately, the first 2 notes, and then something goes wrong on the third note. So if you sing the third note incorrectly, the examiner will play this note. And that's designed to be helpful because it puts you back on track. Because having heard that note correctly, it's going to help you to deal with the next 2 notes. But if you sang this note incorrectly, well, probably the rest of the notes will be wrong as well. So if you sing too quickly, you don't give the examiner any chance to come in and help you by finding a note that might just have gone wrong. So don't worry if that happens, it's just there to help you get back on course again. So let's see if we can have a go at what's going on here. The other thing to say before we do, by the way, is that this is the range of the test. Now the tonic, or the keynote, or the first degree of the scale, they're all names that mean the same thing. This piece of music is in G major, so the tonic is G. You might know it as the keynote or the first degree of the scale, but there's the tonic chord of G, and here is the tonic note. There's G. And G is your starting note, and G is your finishing note. So even if you're not quite sure what these notes are in the middle, try to sing G at the beginning and G at the end, and then you'll be right on 2 of the 5 notes at least. So that gives you a fighting start, doesn't it? Before we get into this test though, let's have a think about this bit. The test will be using notes that start at the tonic and go up the first 3 notes of the scale. 1, 2, 3. Or that come down 3 notes of the scale from the tonic. So this is number 1, and number 1 is also number 8. I wonder if you can see why that is. G is number 1 in a scale of G major. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And when we come back to G at the top, G is also number 8. So when we're going up from G, it's probably helpful to think 1, 2, 3. When we're going down from G, it's probably helpful to think 8, 7, 6. And before we do one of these, let's see if we can get used to these 3 notes. So I'm going to play 1, 2, 3, or in this case, G, A, B. And you might like to sing those notes back. I'll play them again and you just sing 1, 2, 3, or G, A, B. Okay, now we could muddle up the order of those 3 notes, couldn't we? We've just done 1, 2, 3. Well, this time let's go 3, 2, 1, or B, A, G. Have a listen to that. And just try singing that. B, A, G, or 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Let's try another possibility. How about this time we go 1, 3, 2. That's going from G to B to A. Have a listen to that. Here's 1, that's the G. We're missing out number 2 to find number 3, and then we're coming back to number 2. So that's 1, 3, 2. Or it's G, B, A. Let's try another possibility. How about this time we go 3, 1, 2. Or B, G, A. Have a go at singing that with me. There's the B. Here we go. So did you hear that? 3, 1, 2. Or B, G, A. And I think as useful background to this test, you could just, in your own time, whenever you've got a few seconds to spare even, just practice doing those 3 notes in any order. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, and until you get really happy at singing those 3 notes, and particularly of jumping between 1 and 3, because it's easier to go by step, 1 to 2, or 2 to 3, or 3 to 2, or 2 to 1, but going 1 to 3, or 3 to 1, and then maybe being able to stick a number 2 in somewhere after that. So you get really comfortable with those 3 notes. When you've got comfortable with those 3 notes, you could deal with the idea of going 8, 7, 6. So here's the tonic G again, and this time I'm going down, so I'm going to call it 8. So could we sing 8, 7, 6, which is G, F sharp, E? Have a go. Here we go. G, F sharp, E. Or 8, 7, 6. I don't think it's a brilliant idea to sing by numbers in the long run, but singing by numbers gets you used to finding the notes. It's a little bit like painting by numbers. It gets you used to painting, but there comes a point, if you're going to be a fine artist, where you really need to get rid of the numbers. And the same's true with sight singing. Start with the numbers if you find them helpful as a means of finding these notes, because these numbers are actually telling you about degrees of the scale. If you sing number 8, it's the 8th degree of the scale. If you sing number 6, it's the 6th degree of the scale. So it's quite helpful in locating notes of the scale and of just getting the idea of how we move between one note and the next, or how we do these little jumps between notes. And then you might want to sort of get back to thinking in letter names again. But let's stick with 8, 7, 6 for a little while and change the order of those notes. So let's try singing 8, 6, 7. That's G, E, F sharp. It's F sharp, of course, because in G major the 7th note is raised, which is F, which becomes F sharp. Okay, so 8, 6, 7, G, E, F sharp. There's the G. Here we go. G, down to number 6, which is E, up to number 7, which is F sharp. Okay, this time we'll go 7, 8, 6. There's your F sharp, number 7. So here we go. That's number 7, F sharp, up to number 8, G, down to E, which is number 6. So again, just in the same way that you might want to do some practice with 1, 2, 3, you could also do some practice with 8, 7, 6. And I think that's very useful background to this test, just so you can find those notes quite easily, and then it's not going to be too much trouble to convert those numbers into letters. Well, we've been working in G major so far, so let's try one of these 5-note exercises in G major. Now, you might want to at first convert into numbers and think, well, that's number 1 because it's G, but it's also number 8, and we're going down, so it might be useful to think, well, it starts by going 8, 7. This is one above G, isn't it? It's A, so it's number 2, and then we're hopping back to number 7 and finishing with number 8, or with number 1, whichever you prefer. So if you want to use the numbers, you could do that. But hopefully, by the time you've had a chance to do a bit of practice, as we've talked about, you'll be able to think more in terms of these notes. Okay, let's see if we can work through this. So you'll be given the key chord, G major, and the starting note, G. Okay, so try singing that first note, G. So you should have sung this note. Okay, now try moving down one note to F sharp. And you should now be singing this note. Okay, now we've got to move up from number 7 to number 2. Now you might be able to locate that straight away. If you're not sure, what you could do is to think, well, I'm singing F sharp. You could very quietly hum to yourself the G that comes in between these two notes. So there's the F sharp. You could quietly think or hum G. And A is one above that. So here's F sharp. Here's A. So I'm going from 7 up to 2. Or I'm thinking, well, there's F sharp. I'm thinking the G in between. And now I'm going to sing A. Now the next note goes back to F sharp. So if you've been happy about singing F sharp up to A, you might simply be able to reclaim the F sharp again. See if you can sing the F sharp. You should be singing this note. Because we've gone F sharp, A, F sharp. If you find that difficult to do, well, here's the A. See if you can think or hum the G in between these two notes. And then sing the F sharp. And then to find the last note, you've either just got to relocate that key note, that tonic, the first note of the scale, G, or you're just going to go up one from F sharp. So see if you can sing the final G. There's the F sharp. Sing the final G. Okay, let's see if we can now sing through all 5 notes. Here's G major chord and the first note G. Okay, here we go. So here's the first note. Sing the first note. Now try the second note. Now the third note. Now the fourth note. And now that final note. Okay, well, hopefully that gets us into being able to do these kind of tests. Now, you'll be given the choice of singing these tests in either the treble clef or the bass clef. It's entirely up to you which clef you want to sing in. So let's get a fresh example up on the board and see how we do with this idea of singing 5 notes again. And this time we're going to do it in a different key. So on this occasion, we're going to work in the key of F major. So here comes a treble clef. We've got a B flat because that's the key signature for F major. And here come the 5 notes. Starting on F, the tonic, going up to A, coming back to F, you might notice, stepping down to E, and then coming back to F to finish. And I'm going to write that now in the bass clef because there will be people watching who would prefer to sing in the bass clef. You may prefer to sing in the bass clef if you're male and you've got a broken voice, though it's perfectly okay to sing in the treble clef even if you want to sing an octave lower. Or it may just be that if you play the cello or the bassoon, for example, that you're so used to playing music in the bass clef that you're more comfortable in the bass clef, even if you want to sing it an octave higher. That's absolutely fine. So in the bass clef, these notes would look like this. F, A, F, E, F. So, I wonder how you're feeling about dealing with this test. Well, here's a chord of F major, and here's your starting note, F. Let's have a go. Okay, so can you sing F? So you should be singing this note. Now can we go up to A? That should be this note. Can we go back now to F? Hopefully you could reclaim that quite easily. Step down one to E. And now step back up one again and find F again. And just in case you wanted to do that in the bass clef, let me just take that down an octave and do it in the bass clef. So here's the F major chord and the starting note F. Have a go here. Doesn't matter if you're a treble clef reader, you might as well get used to reading in the bass clef as well. And you'll notice that despite the clef, the pattern of notes is still the same, isn't it? We're going 1, 3, 1 or 8, 7, back to 8 or number 1. So if you want to use the numbers, that's how you would do it. Now either be able to pitch your way from F up to A directly, because you've learned how to go from 1 to 3 so successfully, or when you sung F, just think or hum the G in between so you know you've found your A. Then either reclaim the F or think this G in between before you sing the F. Down by step, up by step to finish. Notice 3 tonics, 3 Fs. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. So only 2 notes that are not F. Okay, let's try it in the bass clef. There's F major chord, here's the starting note. Here we go. See if you can sing the first note F. Here's the second note. Here's the third note. And the fourth note. And the fifth note. And it's quite useful to practice these examples because it just gives you practice in thinking, am I going by step? Have I got a little skip to negotiate? Can I get used to feeling this note that's in between? And then can I kick that away and just go straight from this note to that note, or straight from this note to that note? So we get more confident about doing these kind of things. Okay, well, let's move on and do another example. And I'm also trying to give you some practice in different keys so that you can transfer those numbers if you want to use those numbers from one key to another, or at least just get used to reading the pitch of notes in relation to the key. So here comes a fresh stave and a treble clef. And in this example, we're going to be in C major. So here are 5 notes in C major. We're starting with C, we're going up 1 to D, so that's number 2, isn't it? Then we're stepping down to number 7, which is going to be B. We're stepping up again now to number 2, and we're going to finish on number 1. So that's how that test would look in the treble clef. Let's just have it in the bass clef for the sake of those who'd like to do this test in the bass clef. So here are the same 5 notes in the bass clef. Okay, no sharps, no flats in the key signature, so we must be in C major. Here's the chord of C major. And here's the starting note, C. Okay, see how you get on with this one. So can you sing C? Now we're going up a note, aren't we, to number 2, which is D, so can you sing that? Then we're going to skip down to B. So we can either find number 7, or we can think the C in between and then find this B. So this was D. Can you sing B? And now we're coming back up to D. So either try and remember the note that you left, or calculate your way back up to D again, or just think, I can do that little skip from B to D. This was the B. So what's D? And the final note is the tonic note, C. Okay, let's just quickly read that in the bass clef. Here's the C major chord and the first note C. Okay, here we go. Can you sing C? Going up a note to D. Skipping down to B. Skipping back up again to D. And finishing on C. Okay, I hope this is starting to make you feel more confident about doing this test. And certainly when you realise that you've got a limited number of notes to use here, that's really quite helpful, isn't it? Because once you get used to going 1, 2, 3 up from the tonic, or 8, 7, 6 back from the tonic, that really is the key to success. Then it's just moving around into a few different keys, and there are not many keys you're going to be asked at grade 4. So here's another example coming up now, and I'm going to go back into F major, and we're going to start with F, then we're going to go down to D, up to E, skip up to G, and finish on F. And if you'd like to read that in the bass clef, it's going to look like this. There's the F, down to D, stepping up to E, skipping up to G, stepping back down to F. Okay, let's have a try. I'm going to read it in the treble clef first of all. Here's a chord of F major, and here's the starting note F. Have a go at singing this then. There's the F. Can we go down to D? Stepping up to E. Skipping up to G. Stepping back to F. Or let's try the same thing in the bass clef. Here's F major, and here's the starting note F. So sing F. Now skip down to D. You might want to think about the note in between, or you might want to think I'm going from 8 to 6. So there's the F. What did you think D was? Here's D. Stepping up one to E, which is number 7. Now we're skipping up to G. We're going from number 7 to number 2. Or you might think about the F in between on the way. So here's the E, here's the G. And finally, we're back home at F. Okay, well, I think it's hopefully coming with greater ease, and maybe you're getting a little bit quicker at it. But don't forget, speed is not what this test is all about. So obviously sing the notes at a reasonable speed, don't take all day over it, but take enough time to think about the next note and give the examiner time to help you if something just slips up for a moment. Here's the next one we're going to do, and this has got F sharp in the key signature, so we must be in the key of G major. And here come your 5 notes. And here they are in the bass clef. There's the F sharp in the key signature, and there's the G, up to the B, step down to A, step up to B, skip back down to G again. Okay, here we go. G major and the starting note. Can you sing G? Up to B, step down to A, step up to B, skip back down to G. Or in the bass clef, here's G major and the starting note G. Can you sing G? Skip up to B, step down to A, step up to B, skip down to G. And for the very final example, I'm going to go back to C major. Remember to keep doing that practice with singing the numbers. I think it's a very helpful thing to do, and you don't have to spend hours doing it. If you've just got a spare few seconds, you could be practicing your 1, 2, 3 and your 8, 7, 6, and then you could be changing the order. Then you could muddle up 1, 2, 3 and 8, 7, 6, so you get used to dealing with all the notes. So we're in C major, and here come the notes of this final exercise we're going to do in this film. There they are in the treble clef, here they come in the bass clef. Okay, so here's a chord of C major and the starting note C. Have a go. Or if you're in the bass clef, C major, the starting note C. Here we go. Well, I hope this film has helped to make you feel a bit more confident about doing this exercise, sight singing 5 notes. So have a good practice at that, and when you're ready, come back for the 3rd film on the next test.